Hello and welcome back to theHunter Classic. So today we're here on White Rime Ridge for the second monthly Patreon Q&A video, and today we have a good number of questions, so I'm going to try to have about as many animals as questions, and we have a Sitka buck coming in. So as we call him in, our first question is, who is your favorite YouTubers to watch? And right now it's a lot of hunting channels, Midwest Whitetail, Drury Outdoors. I don't know if their channel name is DoD TV or not. It might be, but it's definitely the Drury Outdoors guys. I watch a good bit of Johnny Boy, who is a Rocket League caster. He's pretty much the top caster in my opinion. And I'm really not watching Markiplier and Jacksepticeye so much now, but when it's not hunting season, I do watch a good bit of their content. A lot of gaming content. I do tend to watch that, but right now it's pretty much all hunting, and usually Johnny Boy uploads a video per day, and I tend to watch that because I'm still trying to improve in Rocket League, and just he does a lot of pro casting, so just getting to see that can definitely help. I think that might... oh no. The deer I saw was not our Sitka deer, but I hear one, which most likely will be our Sitka deer. Ooh, I think there's actually two here. Yeah, there's definitely a buck and a doe. I thought that buck was melanistic for a second. Could actually go prone just in case. No, I don't think it is. Now there's definitely white by its nose. That gave me a little scare though. We'll take him out with the 308, which looks a lot uglier with that camo scope on, but I have the normal scope that I would have on it on the 340, which is going to be our main weapon for today. But one of the main reasons I chose this map over Valdeblock, because I wanted to do a run and gun style for this video, is because I'm still searching for a rare bison, so maybe if we get super lucky, we can actually pull that off while we're doing this Patreon Q&A. So we will continue on looking for another animal and get to the next question. So the next question is, do you have anyone who inspires you on YouTube? And I think Jacksepticeye was my first inspiration to make a gaming channel. I ran into his channel looking for something. I wasn't even looking for the Hunter content. I know he did that way back in the day. I was looking for something else and actually came across his channel and then found the Hunter content. And I thought he was really funny. So I watched a lot of his stuff back in the day, and as I said, I still watch a fair amount of his content, just not so much lately with hunting season approaching so quickly. But I think he was my inspiration to kind of create the channel and make gaming content. Markiplier is very inspirational. He's, I don't know, the way that he does his videos, and he's always he just recently uploaded a video about going on a hiatus for a while because he's not satisfied with the quality of his videos, and I think the quality of his videos is top notch, so that shows you how hard he works on his videos, and his upload schedule is always a bit sporadic, but I think if he's putting so much work into it, that's to be expected. But I think they're probably my biggest two inspirations in terms of larger channels. I don't know if there's any smaller channels out there. Who Cares and Ron McTube, Pratze, obviously were a big help in me starting my channel, just seeing the type of content that was out there, and not so much mirroring it, but finding a way to have similar content that was also somewhat my own. The Let's Go Hunting series was pretty unique. Not a lot of people were just going out and hunting. A lot of videos on the Hunter were a rare or a tutorial or something, and what I was doing, and still am doing with the Let's Go Hunting series, was just going out for an hour or two, recording it, and just hoping to find a big animal, and fairly often I guess we'd find at least something decent. But yeah, I think all those guys are definitely inspirations to me and are the reason that the channel is where it is today. I was hoping to find an animal while I talked about all that. It's pretty rare to run this far on White Rime Ridge without finding one, but I'm sure we'll run into plenty as we continue on. We've got a couple of moose out here, but there's actually a Dall sheep down here, which was one of the last things I expected doing this hunt, so we're going to try to take the Dall sheep and we'll be able to find the moose after. But the next question is 3 pieces of advice to someone who's starting a gaming / the Hunter channel on YouTube. I think the first thing, and I kind of already said that, is to kind of find something that people want to watch, but it's not being done. For me, the Hunter was not super popular, but people watched it, obviously. And Let's Go Hunting, my pretty much longest running series. I think it is the longest running series on the channel. As I said, not really anyone that I know of was just going out hunting and filming it and uploading it, everybody was, like I said, having tutorials or rares or whatever content they were creating. But also make sure you're making content that you would want to watch, because that's going to make it more fun for you. It's going to make it so it's not just boring stuff you don't even want to do. And that enjoyment, that's not the same doll sheep, I just realized. That enjoyment behind it is going to definitely help your audience. I lied, that is the same doll sheep. It just looked bigger from behind. When your audience sees that you're enjoying what you're doing, it's going to be more likely for them to want to come back, compared to when you just sound like you're having a miserable time. Nobody's really going to even stick around for that, in my opinion. So piece of advice number 3, I would say, is kind of split up into 2 parts actually. Number 1 is to be consistent with your uploads, because that's rather important to YouTube's algorithm, to have a consistent kind of upload schedule. It definitely helps. And also be persistent. It's very, very tough often getting those first couple of subscribers, even first 100 or so, and first good chunk of views, but it will definitely continue to grow if you are persistent, and as I said before, making content that you enjoy, because it's going to be easier too to be persistent if you're enjoying what you're doing. If you're just having a miserable time, you're really not going to want to go and record, especially if, say, only 25 people watch it in the early days, which I remember the first video I uploaded when I started to upload consistently was that non-typical that scored 267, I believe. I remember watching for a week and it had 30 views. That was huge to me, and now I think in the first 10 minutes probably that would happen. So as I said, it definitely does grow. You just have to give it time. And I think, yeah, our doll sheep's down. I saw a moose over here as well. But yeah, I think that's my 3 biggest pieces of advice. Make content that you would want to create. Try to find like a niche where no one's really doing that one specific thing that you think should be done. This doll sheep's not actually down yet. And also be consistent and persistent. I think that is definitely really helpful for anyone just starting a channel. Let's grab this doll sheep and continue on. 138 score. I actually thought it was bigger than that the second time I saw it, and smaller than that when I initially saw it, so we will take it. And that bigger moose, which was around 150, should have headed up this way, so we will look for him and move on to the next question. This is not the bigger moose, but we will take him. And the next question is, what does your family think about you making money from playing games? Well, I'm not really sure what they think. They don't have a problem with it. I mean, I also have another job, so I think if I were to be solely doing this, at least my dad probably would have a bit of an issue with it, because he's always just like hard work, that kind of thing, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't think anybody has a problem with it. I think it's pretty cool. They've all been very supportive of it as well, which is really nice. I know it can be difficult for sure when people around you aren't supporting you. My sister likes to make fun of me for it all the time, but I think that's to be expected. That's just whatever. We always, my brother, my sister, and I always pick on each other, so that's not anything where she's not necessarily being supportive. I think it's just what siblings do. But yeah, I don't necessarily know what they think. I think it's, like I said, not something that they really care either way so much. But I think if I were to ask, at least my parents would agree that any other method of income while I'm in college and spending like $500 per month on just textbooks, never mind tuition, is definitely a good thing. We've got a female moose down here, and that means it's time for the next question, which is, what games are you most looking forward to in 2017 and 2018? And I don't know of any new titles, at least ones that I'm not currently playing, like in early access, that I'm waiting for. I think Subnautica is actually supposed to be completed this year, but I think they may have been behind schedule. I don't know how that's all going, but I'm looking forward to being able to play that game to completion. I'm hoping Osiris New Dawn gets some updates, because I really, really like that game and hope to play it at some point here on the channel. The Forest, I've not played it recently, but I really do want to get back into it. looking forward to updates for that. So the main thing for me is updates to games that I'm already playing. I don't actually know of any titles that I'm really looking forward to. Another one I think I'm looking forward to just like the optimization of PUBG, because I'd like to record it, but my goodness, the FPS in that game when I try to record, it's not good. There's that bigger moose we were after. I'm actually going to mark. We might just take him out if he stops trotting. Just mark up there and move in that direction. But yeah, those are the games that I've been playing or wanting to play more. Like I said, a lot of it's just updates I'm hoping for. But yeah, I don't really know of any specific games that I'm just waiting for the release of. Our bull moose is out here in front of us, so it's time to answer the next question, which is, what is your favorite rifle in the Hunter Classic? I'm holding it. It's the 340 Weatherby. This thing is an absolute cannon. If you don't have it already and you like to do big game hunting, I would absolutely recommend getting it. You can take down a moose with a double long shot, and I think that is enough said. It's just incredibly powerful. You don't even have to worry about shot placement so much. You can hit them in the intestines and they don't run far. We'll just take a horrible angle here. And as you can see, tips right over. I think my favorite all-around rifle, because obviously this one's only allowed for big game, is probably the 300, just because it was the first rifle that I really started hunting with. And it's got a lot of power, and it's allowed for so many species, down as small as I think coyotes would be the smallest species it's allowed for. So it's a really good all-around rifle, but I've been doing a ton of big game hunting, especially trying to get this rare bison, which apparently doesn't exist because I can't find one. But doing all that big game hunting definitely has made me a fan of this 340 Weatherby. It's a nice looking gun as well, and that really helps, because the 7mm bullpup, while it's extremely effective, it looks horrendous, and that's just not good. So definitely the 340 is my favorite rifle, but as I said, for all-around rifle, I would have to go with the 300. But as you can see, we shot from I don't know how, 126 meters, and went through the hip bone all the way up to the lung. So if that doesn't show you how much power there is, I don't know what will. That's a pretty fair distance to get that kind of penetration on a moose. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite rifle in the game. Another cow moose means another question, and this one is, what is your most memorable harvest you've ever had in the Hunter Classic? There's a lot that I can remember really, really well. My first big mule deer buck. Spooked something over there. I remember my first rare being a piebald mule deer doe. We'll just take this cow moose out as well. My first 400 plus elk coming in the same hunt as my second and only two 400 plus elk. That's definitely really memorable. But I think that I have to go with that 621 reindeer, which was just over the summer. It was recently, but I don't think I can ever forget what a crazy, crazy hunt that was. It was my first 600 plus reindeer, my only 600 plus reindeer so far, and it just came in the most insane way possible. I don't remember how long we tracked it now, but I remember a lot of just going along, trying to catch up to this reindeer, and then it going out of the border, and then actually finding where it came back in and taking him down just minutes before the day was going to flip over. That was absolutely nuts, and actually getting to share that moment with a couple of friends too was really, really cool. So I think that has to be my most memorable harvest in the Hunter Classic. Like I said, there's been a lot that I'm never really going to forget, at least until maybe when this game completely fades away, I'll forget about them, but I think that has to be my most memorable one, because there's just, it's such an unlikely way to harvest such a massive reindeer. We've got our first bison of the hunt up here, not a rare, but at least a bison finally. We came here pretty much to look for bison, and we've had nothing but moose, Sitka deer, and a Dall sheep. But our next question is, why Steelers? Well, I'm not going to get into anything about the national anthem protests or the way they performed on Sunday, because I will be here for the next hour, and I don't think any of us want that. But I was raised a Steelers fan. It's pretty much as simple as that. That's pretty much all I know. This is not the bison I wanted. There was a bigger one. Pretty much everyone that lives around where I do was raised a Steelers fan. One of my buddies somehow ended up being a Ravens fan. He was dropped on his head or something. I don't know, but that's pretty much everybody around here, like I said, is a Steelers fan. Whoa, that was weird. That was indeed the bison I wanted, though, that we ended up taking a crack at. I think we should have hit him pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was raised to be a Steelers fan. I didn't necessarily choose that, but I live in Pennsylvania, closer to the Pittsburgh side than to the Philadelphia side, so that's pretty much the local team. It's not like a matter of they have the most Super Bowls, so that's the team I root for. I've rooted for them since I was... the first games I remember were the year they won Super Bowl 40, which would have been 2005, 2006, so I guess since I was about 8 years old, seen a lot of not so good times. Recently, it's just been all kinds of messed up. They can beat good teams and they lose to bad teams, but anyway, that is why I was pretty much just raised as a Steelers fan. This might actually be a really big bison, 110 to 135. He's definitely going to be decent. But our next question is, how many hours do you put into YouTube weekly? I don't know. Let's see. 4 videos a week. Probably about 2 hours per video for recording would be 8. Another hour to edit each is 12. Another maybe half hour for thumbnailing, titling, descriptions, everything puts us at 14. And then comments and everything, probably around 16. And then if we do a live stream, that's just another 2 right there. But that's pretty much just once a month now we're going to be doing. I don't know if we've actually officially announced that, but that's kind of how that's going. So like 16 to 18 hours per week, which with school and work, if you add all those hours up, I think that puts me very near 60 hours per week. So I'm fairly busy, but I think I could actually put a bit more time into YouTube if I didn't work quite as much. But anyway, let's take out this bigger bison. And he is down, so we'll just go for this one as well, maybe, if we can actually see it. I think we spined it or dropped it, I'm not actually sure. It looked like the spine shot animation because it didn't like freeze and fall over as they tend to do, but yeah, pretty much answered that question as much as I can. Said actually even more so than that. I kind of said the distribution of it. It used to actually be more, I think, when I was doing 3 videos a week because it was all the Hunter content, which tends to take me longer. That was probably at least 3 hours per video. Let's see what this big guy is going to score though. 121, that's a big one. Probably my 3rd best ever. I think that looks pretty good. And let's see if the other bison is actually down. It looks like he is. Hey, that's my first moose shed. Did he just die on top of it? Because I didn't even see that. It's actually a decent sized one as well. 71.8. I think a fair amount of their score would come from the spread. They are like often 50, 60 inch spreads. So that could easily be a 200 moose actually. I think it may well have been, because basically the other side's going to put it at 142, and if it had a 58 inch spread, that would put it at 200. But anyway, oh, that was a brain shot. It was an instant drop. The animation looked different than what I would have expected, but I'm not going to complain about that. We've got another bison in front of us, and that means it's time for the next question, which is, what breed is your dog? And my sister would kill me, and it's a good thing she doesn't watch my videos because I don't know this 100% certain. I know he's some type of lab. I think it's a yellow lab and German Shepherd mix, and that's why obviously I don't know because the color is not going to be the same. But I believe it is yellow lab and German Shepherd mix, so he's a very large dog. I don't know if I have any pictures of him on this PC that I could put in the video, but yeah, he's a big dog. I think he's, let's see, he'd be almost 12 years old now. And his favorite activity, at least used to be killing groundhogs. Now his favorite activity is definitely eating. Eating's always been his favorite activity, I think, to be completely honest. But anyway, let's see what this bison's going to score. 112, not bad. We've got a couple of bison out here. We'll just go for the closer one because I think they're both females. But the next question is, what's the best game of all time in your opinion? And also that bison's a male, but he's tiny. I'm probably not the person to ask this question because I don't play a ton of games. Definitely the game series that I put the most hours in would be Madden. I can't even imagine how many hours I had in all the Maddens over the like 10 years that I played it. I played a ton of Pokemon as well. In my opinion, though, Super Mario Bros. 3 was the best game ever. That was... I didn't even beat it, because I had it on the, one of the Nintendo consoles. I think I had the Nintendo 64. I'm not even certain about that anymore. But yeah, I never beat it, and I never had it for the Game Boy, which I think allowed you to save the game. I didn't even know that till like a couple of years ago. One of my friends was playing it in school one day on his Game Boy, and from what I remember, he was able to actually save the game, which you couldn't do on the console that I was playing on back then. But we put a lot of hours into that. Me and my brother used to play that all the time when we were younger. So the next question as we approach this bison is, do you speak other languages than English? I do speak a little Spanish, not much, and I haven't practiced in the last year and a half really, but if I were to say I speak a little Spanish, hablo un poco español, I believe would be correct. As far as I know, that's the way that would be said. It may be... I think the way that you would say it is... I'm going to get this wrong. Me defendio en español, which means basically I can defend myself in Spanish, or I can get by. That could be wrong, that part, but I'm pretty certain at least the rough translation of the first thing I said was correct, but the second thing I may have gotten the tense wrong because it's what's that called? I don't know the name of it, but that's a different type of tense, which I probably got wrong. I cannot think of the name of that tense, and now it's going to bother me for the rest of this video. Oh, that wasn't a good shot. We'll just hit this guy again. And he is down. But yeah, that is the only language I know any words in, really. I know like a word or two in a couple other languages, but Spanish is the only one that I could even have a basic conversation in. I took 4 years of Spanish in high school, and I think I had a year and a half or 2 years actually in grade school, but yeah, it's been so long since I've actually spoken Spanish. Actually, there was a video, I think it's before the non-typical that started my channel, kind of where I started uploading consistently. There was a video where I was typing in Spanish to somebody in the hunt that I was in who was speaking Spanish. So a couple people might know that I do at least have an understanding of Spanish. I don't even know if I would say I can speak Spanish, but I can read it better than I can speak it. I definitely know that much. So for our last question, we have this bison here, which is a 95 to 125 scoring female, and the question is 3 places that you would like to go in real life and why. I think the why for all 3 of these is probably going to be hunting trip. Number 1 would be Norway. At some point in my life, I hope I get to hunt red deer over there in Norway. And number 2 is Alaska for a moose hunt. I think that would be a really, really cool place to get to hunt moose. I know you don't have to leave the contiguous states to hunt moose, but I think that would be probably the coolest place to actually get to hunt them and experience that atmosphere up there. And third place, Utah for an elk hunt, I think. But I'd have to go with that. I want to hunt mule deer as well, and maybe I could do both. But I have to hunt elk at some point in my life as well, which actually you can hunt them here in PA, but it's a different style of hunting for sure. So I'd have to go with Utah, and pretty much since I'm in PA, it doesn't count as a place I'd like to go because I've kind of already been in elk country. But anyway, that was the last question of this video. So we're going to take a trophy shot of this 101 scoring female bison just to end the video. I think that looks pretty good. It's completely unrealistic because there's no way I'd be holding that bison from falling down the hill, especially not with one hand, but that's irrelevant for this trophy shot. But if you guys want to have your questions answered in next month's Patreon Q&A video, you can do so by clicking the link in the description, and that will take you to my Patreon. And if you don't know what Patreon is, I explained that in last month's Q&A video. And I did it at the end of the video. There will be an on-screen link you can click during the outro, and that'll take you to that video. But yeah, right now with the current number of patrons, it's pretty much unlimited as to the number of questions you can ask. So if you have a ton of questions that you want to ask, you can just click that link in the description, and you'll pretty much be able to find out everything you need to know. So with that, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.